talking all things Petal Panther football. This is the Petal Panther Preview Show from El Mariachi Loco in Petal, Mississippi on SuperTalk Hattiesburg 97.3. Now, here's your host, the voice of the Petal Panthers, Mark Easley.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome on this Tuesday night to El Mariachi Loco, hosting the Petal Panther Preview Show this season. The time has changed. It's getting close to playoff football, and that means that it is close to the third part of the season that coaches and players and fans look toward, and the Panthers are primed for the playoffs, trying to finish off the regular season on a good note and win the region, but there is a lot of different case scenarios that could take place pending the results from this coming Thursday night's game where the Panthers will host Northwest Rankin on senior night. This past Friday night, the Panthers traveled to Lauderdale County and Ray Stadium there at Meridian High School. Came away with a 42-14 win to improve on the year to 7-3 and 3-1 in the South, in the region, I should say. It was all Panthers in the ball game. They led 28-0 after the first quarter, tacked on a couple of touchdowns in the second quarter within seconds of each other, basically. At the 33-second mark, left before half, Panthers scored and then recovered a fumble and scored with 7 seconds to go in the half on that first play after the fumble recovery to go up 42-0. The Panthers had 3 rushing touchdowns in the first half, 3 passing touchdowns in the first half. And that was all the scoring for the Panthers in the ball game, as they led at 42-0 at the half. And Meridian tacked on a couple of fourth-quarter touchdowns against the JV guys and the backup guys for the Panthers to make the score 42-14 a final. Chavez Walker had 2 rushing touchdowns, 1 receiving touchdown. Malcolm Forneret had 2 receiving touchdowns, and Easley Brown had a rushing touchdown. So we'll talk with head coach Marcus Boyles about the game this past Friday night. And then in the second segment of the program tonight, we'll preview Northwest Rankin and talk about playoff possibilities and different scenarios there. And may just talk in general football at every level. But this first half, let's look at the game at Meridian. Bouncing back from a loss at home against Pearl, the focus, and Chuck Robertson, my partner, said, I bet we're going to be focused tonight, and coming into the game was really focused. And I think the kids, wake-up call, whatever you want to call it, but it really got their focus back to where it needed to be between the lines.
It did, and he was exactly right. We had a really good week of practice last week. I think a lot of distractions the week before with Pearl, homecoming. You look at their record, and you tell kids don't do that, but, they're high school kids, and obviously they did. And so we needed a bounce-back win. We needed a dominating win, and that's what we got. And really pleased with how we came out of the dressing room ready to play. Yep.
Defensively, a turnover to start the ball game. The first play, Meridian fumbled it, and then the Panthers scored a minute and 34 seconds into the ball game, led 7-0. You put up 4 touchdowns in the first quarter at the 10:26 mark, the 6:27 mark, the 3:57 mark, the 2:31 mark. So if you do some math right there, some of them a little over 2 minutes between, some of them a minute and a half. So your defense was getting stops, getting some turnovers, but your offense was taking care of business and converting those stops, converting those turnovers into touchdowns.
Yeah, our defense, set the tone. Just a really good night by our defense. And, again, they needed a bounce-back win, a bounce-back performance because just didn't play very well against Pearl. And, I think they a little renewed focus, and they flew around to the football, forced some turnovers, got a lot of 3-and-outs, and got our ball back to and Meridian likes to throw the ball. So, you look at some of those 2 or 3 minutes between where they were throwing it and not completing them, and they were stopping the clock. And, so that definitely helped us.
With the 2 touchdowns in the second quarter within 26 seconds of each other in that last minute of the half, that got the lead to 42-0, and what that did is got that clock to run, a running clock in the second half. So the whole second half was played with a running clock, and an opportunity for you and your coaches to get some of these guys that don't get a lot of playing time on Friday night, a chance for them to reap some benefits from the work they put in at practice.
Yeah, I was glad to see those kids get some opportunity on Friday nights. They're JV guys, they're Monday night players is when they get to shine, and so for them to go out there, they show up to practice every day. They work hard. They're the ones that go against the starters, and they get beat up a little bit, so to speak. But so for those guys, get opportunity to go in and play and really did a good job. I mean, they really did a good job, and you were glad for those guys. And I was, I thought our starters did a good job of staying engaged in the game, and I thought it was just a good night. And one of the best things MHSA's done is 35 points. They do the running clock, and that because I remember before they started that, golly, it takes forever to play the second half of 42-0 ball game.
But it also gets those guys that may not get in very often an opportunity to go in and contribute and play regular snaps, regular plays. It's not like, we're just going to do this and we're going to try to run the clock. You go out and run your regular offense with those backup guys because the clock's running, and it's not just a matter of let's get through the game. Let's go ahead and run our offense, work on what y'all practiced, and give you a chance to do it in the game. Yeah,
exactly right, because, when you have your starters out there and you have 42-0, well, you don't want to throw the ball. You don't want to do certain things. But when you put those JV guys in, the offense is wide open. I mean, if we throw the ball, we throw it. They can't, if we catch it, I'm sorry. We're not trying to run the score, but we got to run our offense. And I thought we did a good job. Offensively, had the first time we got the ball, we turned the ball over. Young 10th grade running back got hit right on the arm, and a good lesson for him. Came back and he had a good night for us. But I thought, we didn't score, but I thought our JV guys, we got first downs, we moved the ball, and certainly, I know Meridian scored 2 touchdowns, but really our defense made them work, except for one. They had the one big play. I think in maybe the second touchdown. I think
the first
touchdown. Okay, had the one big play, but other than that, I thought our defense did a really good job because Meridian kept their starters on the field, and that's their business. They kept those guys on the field, so I was really pleased with our defense.
Yeah, and I was just going to mention that they scored with their starters, and our offense was going against their starters on defense too, and doing a good job. So obviously that was a big opportunity for them, a big night for the Panthers, 42-14. Talking about the running clock, I made the comment, I had to go on over to Jackson officiating a tennis tournament Saturday and Sunday, so I was wanting the game to get over with as quick as I could. Yeah. And it got over quickly, and I told Chuck, I said, that's a good thing about a running clock. I said, this game gets over with, especially if you're on the right side of it.
Yeah.
And Chuck said, hey, even if you're on the other side of it, you want that game to get over with too. It doesn't matter if you're winning or losing by a lot. You want that clock to run so you can get out of town.
Yes, you do. And he's exactly right. You want to be on the right side of it, but even when you're on the wrong side, you're like, hey, run clock and let's get out of here.
That's it. I've had enough of it, but whether winning or losing.
Yep.
So at 42-14 win, again improved the Panthers to 7-3 overall and 3-1 in the region. Looking at some individual numbers from this past Friday night. Again, starters only played the first half, so all of these numbers that I'm giving you for the starters is then 2 quarters of play. Caden Belton was 11 out of 17 for 119 yards and 3 passing touchdowns. Malcolm Forneret had 2 of those receiving touchdowns, 3 catches for 35 yards. Chavez Walker, 1 catch, was that 22-yard touchdown, and I think that run after the catch, that was the last touchdown of the half after we recovered the fumble. He scored with 7 seconds to play. I think that his run after the catch was as impressive as anything he did all night. He runs the ball so hard, but he was able to get it to the edge and beat people to the end zone, and that was a big touchdown just because it was point number 42. So Ashley Brown had a couple of catches for 24 yards. Drew Moody, 3 for 25, but on the ground, Ashley Brown had a rushing touchdown. He carried the ball 11 times in the first half, had 115 yards. He had a run of 27 and 41 and 11. That's his double-digit runs. But when you only carry the ball 11 times and have 115 yards, that's not a bad night's work, but that's a real good half's work.
It really is. And him and Chavez have become a good 1-2 punch.
Mm-hmm.
Ashley can get the tough yards, but Chavez is one that's going to run through tackles and run over people. And he's getting so much better at running the ball. He's falling forward. Something you got to remind yourself. He's just a junior. Last year as a 10th grader, and I didn't think he was physical enough. And this year he's kind of coming into his own. And then Ashley's just a sophomore.
Yeah, that was his 3rd time over the century mark rushing the football for Ashley in those 10 games. He has 9 rushing touchdowns. Caden, our quarterback, has 6 rushing touchdowns. Chavez has 4, and he got 2 of those of those 4 this past Friday night. Chavez on the ground carried the ball 9 times for 56 yards, so he could have very easily been over 100 yards if we'd played the whole game with our starters. Eli Williams, the 10th grader you alluded to earlier, had 4 carries for 38. T. McCullum, it was good to see T back out. He had hurt his ankle. Was it against West Jones? I think he had hurt his ankle, so it was good to see him back out there. He's an exciting runner. Had 3 carries for 14, but he's one of those guys you like to see run. He runs the ball really hard.
Oh, if he was as big as Easley Chavez, he'd be an All-American. I'm telling you now. I tell him all the time, I said, boy, you think you're 200 pounds. Don't realize you're 150. But he does the same thing in practice. We'll be going against that defense, and he just lowers his head and try to run over people. And he is a great young man, fun to be around. It just has killed him the last couple of weeks that he hasn't been able to practice and play. But he is doing really, really well for us.
Yeah, he's a junior, as you said, listed at 5'8", 150 pounds. But that's walking, talking 150 bad news right there.
Yeah, and I think we're stretching the 5'8".
He had his cleats on that day you measured.
Maybe even more than that.
But anyway, it's good to see those guys get in. Had 18 first downs. 16 of those came in the first half. So number-wise, we had 50 plays for 355 yards, averaged over 7 yards per play, averaged over 7.5 yards per rushing attempt. Carried the ball 31 times for 236 yards. So good night offensively. They ran 42 plays for 211 yards, only 5 yards per play. And carrying the ball, that big rushing touchdown sort of skewed their numbers in their favor as far as the rushing yards per carry, 5.2 yards per rush, but they had a 72-yard run for a touchdown. You take away that or some of that, their rushing yardage of 120 yards, not very much. So defensively played really, really well, both starters and backups.
We did. Again, just really proud of our defense because they do have some good athletes. Meridian. We didn't feel like they were very good up front on either side, but athletically, they've got some good athletes. I mean, they got kids that can run.
Yeah, speed. I've always said every time you watch Meridian get off the bus, they look good on the hoof.
They do.
And they got some players, athletes, as I said, but they've struggled this year, and you hate to see that for any team, but
right.
It is what it is. But
what do you think about the blue turf? We haven't talked about the blue turf yet.
The Smurf turf.
Yeah.
I thought it was at Boise State for a while.
I know.
Between the turf and the numbers on those black uniforms,
can't see them.
You're on the sideline, can't see them. Us old folks up in the nosebleed section press box, we got our binoculars and we still can't see them.
No.
So I don't know if I had the right names calling. I told them on the broadcast, I said I may just be calling out positions. Running back has it, receiver has it, or whatever. Because that turf, I guess that was in the works before when you were up there, or no?
We were get new turf, but now Cheyenne and I had never talked about it being blue. I would have tried to say let's don't do the blue turf, but he probably would have overruled me on that. But and Eastern Washington has red turf.
That's right.
So but we will not have that at Petal. No.
Hey, we're not going to, not as long as you're on the sidelines. Huh?
No, sir.
All right, that's a recap of this past Friday night's game. 42-14, the Panthers with the win. And as we get ready to go to break here for some of our sponsors, again, we're coming to you from El Mariachi Loco for the Petal Panther Preview Show. We'll be back after this to talk about the Northwest Rankin Cougars and this coming Thursday night's game. We'll be back after this with more of the Petal Panther Preview Show.
Now back to the Petal Panther Preview Show from El Mariachi Loco in Petal, Mississippi on SuperTalk Hattiesburg 97.3.
Welcome back to El Mariachi Loco here for the Petal Panther Preview Show. Remember, El Mariachi Loco, it's easy for me to say, is a family-owned business offering an authentic Mexican and Cuban dining experience featuring traditional recipes. You can visit them right here on Central Avenue in Petal. We appreciate them sponsoring the preview show this season. They take care of us here, and anytime you have an opportunity to come and frequent them and give them a little business, I know we will certainly appreciate it. They sponsor Petal Athletics, been doing that for a number of years now, and obviously we appreciate their support. Talking with head coach Marcus Boyles, and we just looked at the Meridian game for this past Friday night. Our corneas and our everything is back adjusted from the blue turf that we had to play on Friday night. Now back in the friendly confines of Panther Stadium. A Thursday night game, senior night for the Panthers, and that's the way it's been for a number of years now, that last game of the regular season on Thursday night. I guess that with some of the lower classification starting playoffs and officials, I won't say an official shortage, but it really is a stagger some nights of playing, and this is one way of doing that to finish up the regular season for 7A, 6A. Is 1A through? I hadn't looked that far. Yeah, they've got one more, and maybe I think it's 2A, 3A, 4A starts playoffs. So 1, 5, 6, 7A finish up the regular season. Anyway, finishing up on a Thursday night, that's where I was in a roundabout way getting to the reason we're playing on Thursday night, because the playoffs start for those other classifications, 2, 3, and 4A, Friday night. And it gives you an extra day going into the playoffs, but it also cuts off a day of preparation for the regular season game. And is there a big adjustment for that at all?
Not really. Early in the year it would have been, but by now, I mean, you kind of know what you're going to be doing, and so it's really not that big of an adjustment. We did bring our kids in because it's a big ball game. Brought them in on Sunday. We always bring them in on Sunday and watch film and lift weights. And this week we just we always watch the previous game from so we would have watched Meridian, and we didn't feel like there was any need to watch Meridian, so we lifted weights and we went outside and had about a 30-minute walk through. And so that was beneficial doing it that way.
Northwest ranking coming in 2-2 in the region, 5-4 overall, and looking at their schedule as I was seeing the teams they've played, they beat a good Germantown team to start the season, 24-17, then lost to Clinton. That's a common opponent with Petal, 19-11. They lost to Clinton, beat Wayne County at Wayne County, 27-14. Lost a close ball game to Madison Central, 31-24. Beat a good Brookhaven team, 28-20. Then had the low-scoring 3-0 loss against Brandon. Had a high-scoring fourth quarter against Pearl. They pulled out the win, 33-29. Beat Meridian 31-12. Lost this past week, as you said. Well, I guess that was in our interview earlier. 37-34, lost on a last-second field goal to Oak Grove. So they played some really good teams out of conference, out of region, but a team that's fighting for playoff position, getting in the playoffs, but at 2-2, 5-4. They're a good football team, too.
Yeah, they really are. I mean, Devin Cooper's the head coach over there, been there about 3 years now, and 3 or 4 years, and has done a really, really good job. Their kids are going to play hard. They're going to be well coached, and so they've lost some close games. They've won some close games, and so it's a very dangerous team. And it's a thing where we're both fighting for seeding, and it's so important to finish 1 or 2. You get to host playoff games, and for us, if we win, obviously we get to host that. We'll be hosting all the way through, and that's big because we can. One of those things we may talk about later, but we can finish anywhere in this thing, 1 through 4. And the good thing for us is we control our own destiny. We win, we know where we're going to finish, and so that's big. But like I told our team Sunday, is they're fighting for a playoff berth. Anything could happen with them, and their backs are against the wall, and they're going to come out, and I think we're going to get their best game.
Like I said, they're 2-2 in the region. Pearl is 2-2 in the region. They got the tiebreaker over Pearl. Brandon had a big win last week against Pearl. That brought their record to 2-3. So is that right? No, 2-2. So you got 3 2-2 teams. You got Oak Grove and Petal 3-1, and then you got Meridian out of the contention at 0-4. So you've got 3 2-2 teams that are fighting for 2 spots basically.
That's right, and Brandon has Meridian, so they go finish 3-2.
Yep.
And so if we beat Northwest and Pearl beats Oak Grove, then I think Northwest Northwest would be left out.
Yeah.
Because they would have the 3 losses.
Yeah.
And Pearl would only have 2 losses.
Yep. So a lot is riding on those Thursday night games. We can talk about that in just a little bit. When we look at the Cougars under Coach Cooper, as you said, they've been close to making the playoffs in the past. And it's a case where they've got a good opportunity, but they know coming on the road to play Petal, they're going to have to bring probably their best effort of the year. And Petal has got to bring a really good effort because a lot is riding on that game because, as you said, the region title, that is so big matching up with the coast teams. And we played 2 of those already, Ocean Springs and Gulfport. So know what, and both of them on the road, we know what they're doing. But to be able to play at home is so important in the playoffs. But Northwest Rankin coming in, they've got good receivers. They got a good running back, got a solid quarterback. They're good offensively.
They are really explosive offensively. I mean, when you play Oak Grove and you score 34 points, I mean they were very explosive offensively, and Oak Grove did a really good job in the game of limiting the rushing, and I think Northwest threw it for like 250 yards or something like that. That may not be exactly right. They threw it for well over 200 yards. And so they're not one-dimensional. They those three receivers can go 0, 2, and 8. And 2 is kind of the big, tall kid, 6'4" basketball player. But he's not the leading receiver. I think 0 is the leading receiver, I believe, for the team. I might be wrong. But anyway, they are very explosive, big up front. Offensive line is really good. So defensively, we got a work cut out for us this Thursday night. And
you talked about their quarterback being playing center field for the baseball team as well. He's listed as 5'9", 160, so not a big guy, but as you said, playing center field, he can run and a smart player, quarterback out there on the baseball field. He's the quarterback on the football field too.
Yeah, oh yeah. When you watch him against Oak Grove, Oak Grove had 3 guys coming off the edge, and he'd make them miss and extend plays. Did a really good job of that.
And let's look at their big running back, Germany Hayden, 6'1", 198 senior. The stats I saw, I think through 9 games, which is I think all they played so far. They had an open date. 218 carries, 1,288 yards, 14 rushing touchdowns. Has run it over 100 yards 6 of those 9 games. Averages 143.1 yards per game. Packs a punch.
He does. He's a 200-pound kid, 6'1", just a big kid that can run. And he took a screen pass against Oak Grove for their last touchdown, about 62 yards, and outran everybody on Oak Grove's team. So he can run. He's going to be a great challenge for us.
Their quarterback's thrown for over 1,800 yards, 10 interceptions, 154 out of 249 passing attempts, 13 touchdowns. Again, with those 10 interceptions, so they like to spread it around between the rushing and throwing touchdowns. That's at least 27 if my math is right there. 14 and 13 this week is 27. So well balanced, but when it gets down close to that goal line, that big running back can get it. But then those receivers you talked about, they can score through the air too.
Oh, they can. When they get down there close, they go hand it that big running back, and they're going to give you a lot of different formations on offense. That's the biggest thing. A lot of different formations, a lot of personnel groups, and they do some unusual stuff at times. They opened up the game against Oak Grove and empty with 4 receivers to the left and 1 receiver to the right, and so that presents a challenge. You got to know where, and the quarterback's good enough. If you leave the box, he'll pull it and run it. So we got a work cut out for us on defense.
Let's look at their defense. They've got a couple of linebackers, Ruben Bilbrew and Bennett McWilliams, their leading tacklers. Bilbrew has 117 tackles, 101 for McWilliams. And Bilbrew, 6'2", 200-pound linebacker. He looks the part.
He is really good. Number 11, you'll find him on it'll be easy to find him. I mean, he's going to be running the football. And then the other kid, number 25, is a really good linebacker himself. And so those 2 guys make a lot of tackles, but they make a lot of tackles because the defensive line keeps the offensive line off of them.
Yeah.
And they just run to the football, do a great job of reading their keys, and when they read it and they see it, they're gone. They're not tiptoeing around. They're going 100 miles an hour.
And solid in the kicking game as well. 24 out of 25 PATs and 7 out of 8 on their field goal attempts, long of 41. So all 3 facets of the game pretty solid for Northwest Rankin. So it's going to be a challenge, but one that Panthers be ready for, I'm sure, with a lot riding on it. And I know they'll be ready to play, and hopefully outcome will be in our favor.
Yeah, I think we're going to be ready to play. I think our kids understand what the challenge is. Haven't hosted a playoff game since 2019. Our kids understand that. They want to be that group that brings that back to us. Haven't won a region title since 2019, so they want to be that group that does that also. So I think we're going to come out, Thursday night focused, ready to go. I think you're going to see us play at a high level, and I know we're going to have to win this football game because Northwest is going to come out and play at a high level also.
Let's talk. It is senior night. Let's talk about the seniors as we get ready to close here. Your second year back, so you've had these seniors as juniors and now as seniors. special senior group, even though a lot of the players that contribute are underclassmen. This senior group, though, has really led the way, and that's one thing with this experienced team, that they know the impact of this game Thursday night, that they'll be focused because you have good leadership from those seniors.
We do. Very good leadership, man. These kids they come, and other than 1 or 2 times this year, we've had great on Friday nights. Our kids have shown up and played hard and competed hard. A couple times, I felt like we didn't do like we should have, but that's teenagers.
Yeah.
But for the most part, they come to practice every day. They're a fun group to be around. They love joking and kidding around, but when it gets time to practice, they lock in and get ready to practice. So it's a fun group, that wanted to get this thing back right, and they've led us back in that right direction. And now just to go out there Thursday night and kind of cap it off with a region title will be big for this group.
Yeah, you talked about teenagers, and made me try to think back to when I was a teenager. We're both a little long in the tooth here, but you think back when we were in high school, would we not have games, whether it's football, basketball, whatever, where it's not like we took the night off, but we'd have a down game because, there's so much stuff going on in a teenager's life, and now more than it was when we were teenagers.
Oh, definitely. The distractions these guys have is just unbelievable. We didn't have all the cell phones and the social media like they do now. So, they've done a great job, and just, want to send this bunch out on a win and with a region title Thursday night.
And that'll be a 7 o'clock kickoff. We hope all of you are here at Panther Stadium, and bring your transistor radios, all you old timers, and tune in at 97.3.
Yeah, and senior night will be pregame.
Yeah,
and so we'll be recognizing not just the football seniors, which have 28 of those. We'll be recognizing band, which has a little over 20, and then our cheer team is about 5, dance team's about 5, and then JRTC. So there's 70 seniors going to be recognized pregame, and that'll start at 6:25, and so it's a special night for all those seniors, not just football, but the rest of them also.
Yeah, I remember in senior nights in the past to where the seniors, after that last game is over with, some of them just go and sit at midfield and just soaking it all in and taking it all in, because that's the last time regular season to play on that field, and it was a lot of blood, sweat, and tears been put forth out there.
That's right. What the Kenny Chesney country song, he sang something about, last time put those pads on.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Do you know any of it? You want to sing it for us as we go out?
No, I better not do that.
Hey, we got about 35 seconds. Go ahead and hit a line over there, too.
I better leave that alone. My wife can sing. I can't.
Well, Myra, you should have been here tonight.
That's
you can
right.
sing a little Kenny Chesney. We appreciate y'all joining us tonight on this Tuesday night, coming to you again from El Mariachi Loco. Thanking them for their sponsorship of this program, and we'll talk with you next Tuesday night as we get ready for playoffs, and we'll see you this Friday night at Panther Stadium, or this Thursday night against Northwest Rankin. Good night from El Mariachi Loco.